Jedes Mal, wenn ich lerne über eine von Tolstois philosophischen Schriften, dermone ich sich in einer kleinen Skizze von Erich Gustafsson, der Maskenball. Ein reicher Graf arrangiert ein Maskenball für seine zahlreiche Freund. In dem größten, herrlich beputzten Saal bewegt sich das Leben in hunderter verschiedene Gestalten.
Hi, I'm Elise Hendrick, and I think it would be safe to say that I speak a few languages. Today I'd like to talk to you about one of the benefits of learning another language that you might not even have thought of, and how easy it is to get there. A lot of people probably already know a lot of the more obvious benefits. You can get by better when you're traveling. There may be some jobs that you qualify as a result that you wouldn't otherwise have qualified for, passing a class perhaps. But what a lot of people don't realize is that when you speak another language, occasionally you get the opportunity to make someone's day. Sometimes you end up being the protagonist of one of the better stories they'll have from the day that they've had. I can think of quite a few examples of that, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit.
火曜日の朝8時半、秘書のニーナは3つのデスクの上に様々な書類をきれいに積み上げた。デスクを整理し、一日の計画を立てるの。この速さの儀式がニーナは好きだった。面会の欲望が何者にも妨げられずにデスクの一角に置かれている。ミスター・トラーの秘書の話によると、会議は最低2時間はかかるとのことです。3時半には、ビクター・ミリガンが会談を希望しています。Victor Milligan vuole incontrarsi con lei. A che proposito? Le ripeto, signor McDear, che non sono autorizzata a fare domande e fra 15 minuti deve trovarsi in centro, nell'ufficio di Frank Mulholland. Bene, c'è altro? Devo portarle qualcosa quando torno dal pranzo? No, mangerò un sandwich in centro. Benissimo. Ha tutto il materiale für Mulholland? Er deutete auf den schweren schwarzen Aktenkoffer und erwiderte nichts. Sie ging und Sekunden später ging Mitch den Flur entlang, die Treppe hinunter und zur Vordertür hinaus. Er blieb einen Moment unter einer Straßenlaterne stehen, dann ging er schnell in Richtung Innenstadt. Der schwarze Aktenkoffer war in seiner rechten Hand, das weinrote Köfferchen als Aalhaut in seiner linken. Das Signal. Vor einem grünen Gebäude mit vernagelten Fenstern blieb er neben einem Hydranten stehen, wartete eine Sekunde und überquerte dann die Front Street. Ein weiteres Signal.
I remember one time, a number of years ago, I was just at the supermarket picking up a few things. And as I was paying, there was this guy bagging the groceries who was probably 70, 80 or so. And it looked like he wasn't really having a particularly good day. And as I was waiting for my card to go through, I happened to notice on his name tag he had sort of one of those classic Slavic names. I don't remember which one, but something on the order of Rastislav. One of the sort of name that you only really see in Bulgaria. Nobody else seems to use them all that much anymore outside of Bulgaria. And so as he was handing me my stuff, I said, Dobry den, vi ste bulgarski? And he just grinned from ear to ear. I'm pretty sure that just totally made his day. He just absolutely lit up. And you get that actually more often than you'd think, because people who are a long way from home, they miss all sorts of things. You know, they miss the food, they just sort of miss the place that they were, you know, a favorite restaurant or something that they like to go to and is not all that conveniently located on the other end of an ocean. But one thing that people really miss is hearing their language. I remember, actually more recently, this guy I knew went to, he drank coffee at the same cafe that I did, He once told me he loved that I spoke Urdu, which I don't really, because having a chance to speak Urdu with me actually allowed him to get a taste of home. And that is actually a really common thing. I mean, I can't count the number of times that people have just sort of lit up, even just when I happen to have said hello in their language. Здравствуйте, Tasaimano, Taria, Zdravo, Kakoste, Artika, Saubon, Nangaref, Sabo.
다시 만나자고 약속을 하고 절친한 친구라도 되는 듯이 악수를 나누었다. 엘리베이터가 5층에서 멈추고 데미가 자연스럽게 올라탔다. 엘리베이터에는 맥디르 혼자뿐이었다. 문이 닫히자 그가 물었다. 온지가 있었어요? 아니요. 2푸씩 복사해서 캐비넷에 넣고 잠갔어요. 시간이 얼마나 걸렸어? 30분. 엘리베이터가 4층에서 멈추자 데미는 빈소류 가방을 들었다. 레일 종료요? 데미가 물었다. 네. 막디르가 대답했다. 엘리베이터 문이 열리고 데미는 4층 복도로 사라져버렸다. 그는 로비로 내려왔다. 로비에는 아까 그 경비원 외에는 아무도 없었다. La celebración del 25º aniversario de Abby fue bastante deprimente. Sentados en un oscuro rincón de Crisantis, a la tenue luz de una vela, susurraban entre sí y forzaban una sonrisa. No era fácil. En aquel mismo momento, en algún lugar del restaurante, había un agente indetectable del FBI con una cinta magnetofónica que a las 9 en punto insertaría en la máquina de cigarrillo que Mitch debía retirar al cabo de unos segundos sin ser visto ni atrapado por los malvados, quienquiera y como quiera que fueran. Lo único que la cinta les revelaría sería la suma de dinero que los McVeigh recibirían a cambio de pruebas y del resto de la vida como fugitivos. Comían sin apetito y hacían un esfuerzo por sonreír, mientras intentaban mantener una prolongada conversación, pero en el fondo estaban inquietos y no dejaban de consultar el reloj. La cena fue breve. A las 9 menos cuarto habían acabado de comer. Mitch se dirigió al lavabo y examinó de paso el oscuro salón. La máquina de cigarrillo estaba en un rincón, donde se suponía que debía estar.
And this brings me to a point that's really important if you're looking to learn a language or in the process of learning a language, which is you don't actually have to speak it particularly well in order to really make somebody's day with it every once in a while. I mean, the examples actually, when I think about it, of when people have just really utterly lit up, have been languages that I actually don't know well or didn't know well at the time. Like Bulgarian, for example, I'd only really just begun with at the time that I had this brief exchange with the guy at the supermarket. Or, for example, Amharic, I mean, basically the only word I know is I've just never managed to get all that far in it for lack of materials and because I've had all sorts of other things that I'm also working on. You know, I only really know how to say hello and how are you. You don't really need to know a whole lot in order to really make somebody's day with it. Now, a lot of people, they never really, they have trouble working on their speaking ability, working on their pronunciation, their ability to just spontaneously come up with phrases in the language that they're learning. And a lot of the time it's because they're just terrified that they're going to really mess something up, that they're going to say something that just totally embarrasses themselves and they're going to just end up having to crawl into a hole someplace in another city and change their name and hope that they never see the person that they just spoke to again. People are really terrified of getting things wrong because they think that that if they don't speak it perfectly already, people are going to laugh at them or be somehow offended, or it's going to be some huge embarrassing thing. But the reality is, a lot of people, especially people whose native languages are not widely studied by foreigners, I mean, at least outside of their country, are just absolutely over the moon that you're even trying. A lot of the time, they just think it's the coolest thing that there's somebody out there who's actually decided that their language, of all the languages that somebody could learn, is the one that somebody's decided to spend time working on, even if they haven't gotten all that far in it, even if their pronunciation isn't great, even if their grammar is atrocious, even if they can't really say anything coherent beyond "Hi, how are you?" or maybe "Thanks" or something like that. It doesn't actually matter all that much. And so if that's something that's getting in the way of you learning to really speak and apply what you've already learned or what you're still learning passively in an active way by actually going out and talking to people and trying to have a conversation, you really don't need to let it, because people, more often than not, in my experience, just think it's cool that you're trying. So, whatever the reason you're learning the language, and whatever language you're learning, one thing to know is that even if you don't know it all that well, you can really make somebody's day with it. That's not something that people really tell you in the books that you're probably learning from. It's not something that gets mentioned all that much, but it is a real thing, and it's absolutely lovely when you get to be a part of it. So whatever level you're at, and whatever language it is that you're working on, keep going with it, and don't be afraid to just go and talk to people. You might end up being the highlight of their day. Or at the very least, an interesting story. This is the first of a series of videos that I'm going to be doing about things polyglots know that you might not, that other language learners probably have not heard. Because when you get down to it, the one thing that, as far as I can tell, most of the people who have mastered larger numbers of languages have in common isn't so much that we all have some sort of innate talent, which is what everybody seems to think, but there's just we just have certain techniques that we've developed wherever we've learned them from, and that happen to work a lot better than the conventional way that people are taught languages. And I'm going to be looking into different aspects of those things in the upcoming videos, as well as just interesting stories and things like this that I hope inspire you to keep going. If you enjoy this, please do like and subscribe, and I'm always happy to find new supporters at my Patreon, the link of which is appearing on the screen right now. That really helps me continue my work. And if you'd like to work with me individually, you can find my email address on the screen right now. So, until next time, just keep going.